Welcome to Peralta Matters. I am your host, Jay Calhoun. This is part 2 of our special series welcoming our new faculty at the community colleges. So, sit back and relax, and let's get into what matters here at Peralta.
What would you tell someone who was thinking about going to college?
Once you get in, you get sucked into it. It cultivates those things in you that you never thought were there or that could be cultivated. The rewards are well worth it. Just go.
For more information, visit peralta.edu. Like your future at the Peralta Colleges.
I'm Congresswoman Barbara Lee. Join me in watching Peralta TV.
Welcome back to Peralta Matters. I am your host, Jay Calhoun. We are now joined by new faculty member, Courtney Brown. Courtney, welcome to the show, man.
Glad to be here.
Right on. Before we get involved and I start talking about your background and what you got going on, tell the people what your official title is at Merritt.
I am the professor of computer science at Merritt, but I'm also the coordinator for several programs, including the cybersecurity program, the Cisco program, and the Bay Area Consortium that gives students access to all kinds of hands-on material. So I'm really excited to be at Merritt and bringing this to our students.
Outstanding. Let's talk a little bit about how you got to Merritt.
I got to Merritt via New York City, New York City public schools.
Okay.
So I grew up in that system, and they had programs like you might find in here. They had math science focused schools. So I applied for one of those, and I got in, and all my textbooks were free. So I studied math and science at the high school, and that got me on track to college.
Right on.
I went to University of Pennsylvania, Ivy League, and then onward to Stevens grad school for computer science.
Right on.
But it was more twisty than that, but more exciting than that as well.
Where was the impetus, or what sparked you into computer science in general?
Well, I was into sound. And so I wanted to make music and new musical instruments.
We go. See, I knew there was something going on here. Come on.
Yeah, and so that really got me to love what I was doing, and I could put up with any kind of math. For a long time, I thought I didn't like math, and it wasn't until my third year of college, when I was in a math elective, that I realized I went to math science high school. I'm in engineering. I'm good at math. So sometimes the struggle is not your ability, but your own concept of your ability.
I like that. I like that. Now at Merritt, what are you seeing, or what are you noticing as the culture there when you walk on campus?
I'm seeing a strong community-based culture. I'm seeing a culture where the students feel comfortable and respected, and so the staff and faculty actually promote that, because without that, learning becomes more of a challenge. At sometimes a student might come on campus, and it takes them a minute to relax and realize that it's not a hostile place, that people want to help, and then they can figure out what they want to do and begin learning.
A little bit different than your college experience, you think?
Absolutely, absolutely. I was in high school and in college, one of the few and only, and so I had to cross boundaries. I had to make friends. I had to make people like me, and even if they didn't like me, I had to make them like me.
I heard that.
So it's very good to have so much to work with, such a strong community.
What are you guys gearing up for? What's the future for Merritt College computer science classes?
We are gearing up, and I like to think of it as social justice with technology. So social justice is about getting people jobs. One of the most famous social justice actions is the March on Washington. Full name, March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. So here we're putting in programs to get people those jobs in the area of cybersecurity. This is something you hear about every day. There's a break-in, something is leaked, and companies want to keep their data secure. So they are already looking. We have an industry advisory group that's guiding the cybersecurity program so that the skills we teach map to both certificates and degrees. So when a student comes into the program, they can come out with a certificate or an associate's. And so we're really happy to work with the California Community College and the state to have these degrees recognized, and our application security degree, the AS in secure applications, just came through. So we're really thrilled and really excited.
We were talking a little off camera about mobile apps.
Absolutely.
Kind of the way that Merritt is going to approach this new industry. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, one of the places that I worked was with AT&T, their network systems, and actually I worked in the labs at Red Hill. So telecommunications networks, second nature to me. And one thing a lot of people don't realize is you can have an app, it runs on your phone, and it can run entirely on your phone. But it could also interact with a web server. But at Merritt, we're going to teach you how to have it interact with the telecom network.
So you're going to teach kids how to, one, build it, and then two, how to actually work the network in which to build that app.
Absolutely. And that means they can build richer applications, things I can't even imagine. Because even though sometimes I'm the expert, I've got some nephews that just
that can build some stuff, can't they?
Absolutely.
Right. So now that you are officially on campus, you are ready to go, you're rearing up, semester has started. Talk a little bit about your students. What are you seeing?
Well, the first thing in the classroom I have to answer is they say, where's the faculty? And I have to say, I'm the faculty. And people are like, well, this is different. I've never had a teacher who, and so that helps us break down the tension, because there's the expectation of being judged, and it's a class, so you are going to be judged, but they don't want to be judged on anything but academics. They don't want to be judged by my perception of them. So I find it's really exciting, and many of these students come into class knowing a lot already. So they enter the cybersecurity program. They know about hacking. They've
done a little bit. I mean, they know about it. I'm sorry.
And so one of the fun things is getting them to admit what they already know, so that they can integrate it with what they're learning. So I'm just really excited that the support for the application security is there, but also the programs that I want to introduce really speak to the fact that when it comes down to it, applications and technology are the tool for social justice now. And so why not have students learn to think about it more than just commerce. Think about it in terms of political action, in terms of maintaining community, in terms of preserving history. I would love to have some programs at Merritt, and I guess since I'm the guy, there will be, that help a sense of digital memory. So many of the things in communities of color are just passed down and
not preserved.
Not preserved. So at some point, all the kids are saying, if it's not on the internet, it didn't happen.
There we go.
So I'm hoping to have that be part of the culture as well.
Excellent. Well, welcome again, Courtney.
Glad to be here.
We'll see you on up there.
All right. Thank you.
We'll be back in a few more minutes with Peralta Matters.
One of the best things about the classes is its hands-on training. You're in there doing it, taking things apart, putting it back together, making sure everything's working right, and learning.
I've always been interested in, working on vehicles and taking stuff apart, and this is the best environment for me to learn how to put them back together.
The outcome for most students is a job in this trade. We have people from all over the industry coming here looking for candidates to fill jobs.
When I finish this course, I'll be able to get an apprenticeship at a shop as a qualified diesel mechanic.
Diesels will always be around right in America, so there's always going to be needing mechanics.
All aboard!
Now that I'm retired, I should turn this yard into a garden. Wish I knew how. Oh, you're not a gardener, dressed like that.
Nah, buddy, I'm the Peralta College's genie, and the key to success is classes at one of the 4 East Bay Peralta Colleges. They got weekend courses, even landscaping.
Thanks, Peralta College's genie. Got any more good advice?
Yeah, recycle.
I'm a veteran, and I was looking into some of the trades signing up for classes at College Alameda was really easy because you have the online stuff, and then the administration building was really helpful. The VA department, speaking with the dean, it was really easy to just get all the paperwork done and get going in the class. And it's an easy transition from the military in Iraq to coming into here.
Welcome back to Peralta Matters. I'm your host, Jay Calhoun. We are now joined by new faculty member, Catherine Nichols. Catherine, welcome to the show.
Nice to meet you, Jay.
Outstanding. Let's first give the public an idea of what you do at Berkeley City College.
So I was just recently hired as a full-time academic counselor.
Outstanding.
I was previously working in the financial aid office at Berkeley City College for 5 years. Before that, I was the assessment and orientation specialist. Before that, I was an hourly for admissions and records and counseling, and before that, I was a student worker.
So you just basically touched on everything I wanted to do. Interview's over. Thanks a lot.
Right?
Appreciate it. Speaking of all those positions you've held, you've literally seen the Peralta College from a different perspective on every level.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when I first started in 2003, Berkeley City College was called Vista, and it was this little itty-bitty tiny building that didn't really have a library. I mean, it was very small, and to see Berkeley City Vista come to become Berkeley City College, and what a pillar we've become in the community because of great leadership like Debbie Budd, it's amazing.
Right on.
It's really exciting.
Talk a little bit about what it means to work at Peralta, considering, again, you've seen it, you know, from certain levels. In certain respects, it's infancy as far as BCC is concerned. But as a student worker, as a part-time worker, now as a faculty member, what do you see?
Well, you know, I think every company or place that you work comes with challenges. But the thing about Peralta for me that is near and dear to my heart is the fact that there are some of us who really do care. When I was introduced at the Flex Day, I looked out and there were 4 or 5 of my professors that were incredibly happy for me and excited. You know, it's interesting how there's a different perspective if you're an hourly, a student worker, a classified, or a faculty member. So I've sort of experienced all that, and so I feel like I'm really grounded in where I came from, and I really see things as the student's perspective. And so I make sure that, you know, anything that I do with a student, that I'm 100% present, and that I know that that's going to impact them later.
We often forget that, you know, not only in our professions here at the district, but, you know, just in general in life, we were once young people, you know, and we forget now that we're so grown and mature and have all these responsibilities that, yeah, there were sometimes you didn't know something, and there were sometimes you needed a little resource of help, and sometimes you needed a little guidance in this area. So speaking of that, now that you are on the counseling side, now that you are actually advocating for these children to register for this class, register for that, talk to this person, go get that social service, go get that resource, what is that now saying to you as your Peralta trajectory?
So, you know, I feel like I don't have a unique story, but the story is my story. I started as a basic skills student, adult student, a DSPS student, keep checking the boxes, right? At-risk student. I dropped out of high school. I went back to school to get my AA degree and transfer when I was 32. And so, as an academic counselor, I am trying to do the things that the people did for me while I was there. My academic counselor was the first person that ever believed in me that I could go to college, that I could do this. And through the DSPS office, I learned how to take notes so that I didn't need those services when I moved on. And so the other thing that I've learned is that, you know, you have to use the resources on campus. It's so important, and the students that don't use the resources on campus are the students that are the most at risk. And so it's so important that we remember that these students are people. They come with a lot of challenges, and that if we want to talk about equity, and we want to talk about retention and persistence, then it really starts with the front lines. And I think Chancellor Laguerre said in his State of the District, you know, the old Peralta way doesn't work. And he's absolutely right. When a student comes up to you and they have a negative interaction with you, that student might never come back.
Correct.
And that's my education changed my life.
Right, right.
I mean, completely changed my life. Mm-hmm. You know, Bell Hooks talks about education being more than just facts and information. Mm-hmm. It's about wholeness. Yeah, it's about becoming who you are, healing old wounds, finding your place. Yeah. And I have found my place. I've found my purpose, and I've never been happier. And that translates to the students. Excellent. And I really want to make sure that when they leave my office, that they've gotten what they've needed, and if they haven't, that they can contact me or come back and see me, and we can go over whatever they need to again.
Right. Give me a quick outlook, overview, mantra, mission statement for BCC for the next year or two.
For me, it's really transforming lives. I mean, I don't mean to be corny, but really, my education at BCC transformed my life. I mean, I used to wear a backwards baseball hat. I had a big old chip on my shoulder, you know, basketball shorts. Right. I was much heavier. I smoked. And through my education, you know, I've been able to really become a new person, really become the person that I'm supposed to be. And in a sense, I've really become a real woman, and I'm really enjoying that. It's just amazing. I'm so happy. It shows at home. Right. It shows at the job. Right. And I think when you find your purpose, there's something that changes. Right. You become more compassionate. You become more empathetic. Right. You start to really give back to the community, which is what I've always wanted to do.
Putting the community back in community college.
Trying to.
Right on. Thanks, Kathy.
Yeah.
We'll be right back in a few more minutes with Peralta Matters.
Academic excellence on Peralta News.
I had not been in a classroom since I graduated 6th grade. Following my first semester at BCC, my family was evicted from our apartment. I thought we were moving around a lot before. Now we were moving around pretty frequently, like every month, 2 months or so. I would leave to go to school in the morning, and home wouldn't be in the same place, you know, when I came back. It just made me that much more dedicated to school. It was kind of the only thing I had control of. There were times I was eating like 1 muffin a day. The scholarships, it's not an exaggeration to say they saved my life, or at least made it phenomenally better. Prior to that, everything had been, I don't know, I don't even know how to explain it. Everything was so stressful, it was hard to focus on anything. The scholarships helped me not worry about getting food. They helped me not worry about where I was going to stay. School became my rallying point, my way to change my circumstances. Community at BCC is so tight-knit. You know, we get to know each other very well. Faces become very familiar, and we kind of become invested in each other's success. And they constantly encouraged me and kept saying, you can do it, keep aiming higher and higher. And that helped pick me up, you know, whenever I was feeling down, whenever I felt like I'd run my last lap or thrown my last punch, you know. They said, no, you got more in you, keep it up, keep going. And that's, I think, it's crucial. It really is crucial. I would like to help underserved adolescents. Right now I'm studying psychology. I'm interested in going to grad school after this. The things we achieve are recognized, especially by this district and by others. This is the place to start, you know. The Peralta system makes things very accessible, makes things very possible, as you can see. And it can be done if you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to try.
Thank you for watching Academic Excellence on Peralta News.
Welcome back to Peralta Matters. I'm your host, Jay Calhoun. We are now joined by new faculty member, Reginald Constant. Reginald, welcome to the show, man.
How you doing?
All right. First, let's talk about where you work.
I work at the Laney Library.
Right on.
I am the new Public Services Librarian over there.
All right. We talked a little bit off camera about some of the misconceptions or the conceptions of librarians. And my first take is you got to have a certain temperament and certain mentality and certain level of, shall we say, patience to be a librarian.
Yeah, you have to have the patience. we deal with a lot of people, a lot of different temperaments, a lot of different mentalities. You know, people coming off the street, students. You know, so you have to approach them. You have to sort of like have some emotional intelligence to gauge who they are and who they're coming from. And you have to approach them professionally, but from where they are. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your background. Where are you from and how did you get to Laney College?
Oh, Lord.
In 2 minutes.
In 2 minutes. So I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York.
Right on.
And I originally worked at Queens Public Library. I was a youth services librarian originally from there. It was fine, you know, I worked all over the system. Then I came here about 4 years ago. I got a job at OPL, still working at OPL, Oakland Public, and worked as a teacher librarian from SFUSD for a couple of years while I was working at Laney. So I've been at Laney since 2013 as an adjunct, but I was finally hired during the summer.
And now that you are here, what you know, clearly there are a lot of things that need changing everywhere. But what would you say would be your first order of business as a new librarian?
Yeah, I think you're right. There's a lot of changing, and that's just gradual. I'm here for the long haul, so my key role is working with the public and just making sure our circulation services and our reference services and our computer services run smoothly. So that whole main floor that gets most of our traffic and public usage, my position is to oversee those functions and just to make sure the students' needs are being met in a timely and professional manner.
Let's talk about that a little bit, because even in conversation with you off camera, that was a focal piece I kept hearing is, you know, although financial aid, registration, classrooms are clearly a place where these students go first, and that's kind of the first phase. This is also, the library is such an
students come first, the library, I'm sorry.
Right, no,
the
you're right.
library is the first place, like, you know, like forget financial aid, forget the teachers, like, you know, I mean, like, it's a good thing because people have been conditioned, and that's the wonder of the public library, you know, like, oh, I'm going to go to the library, they get information, and, you know, and, you know, like some of them I don't know, but like, you know, I'll go you there. So like, you know, like my thing is like, I don't know where this is at, but I'll walk with you over there.
Find it. We'll
both find it. And so I will learn it. I'll learn for the next person there. So like, you know, and that's really what I think the whole team of librarians at Laney and what I want to do and my tenure here is like, this is, you told me not to beat on the table.
Right, that's okay. It's good. It's all right.
I'm from Brooklyn now.
Beat on it. Beat it up.
So, but you know, like it's just really, the library is the heart of the campus. It's the heart of the community. You know, like right now, you know, like it's kind of beat up. You know, but you know that sentiment is still there, and we're going to help you. You know, we're going to help you find this class. We're going to help you sign up. We're going to help you, like, you know, like my, you know, like my. You know, we don't point at things, you know, like, you know, like we don't say it's over there, you know, we walk, we show you, like my whole thing is inclusion, even the public library, it's, you know, because I'm going to be busy and you need to stop asking me. So, you know, like you need to learn how to do this, you know, so we're a teaching library, you know, not only for academic content and research, but you know, basic study skills, basic behavioral skills. Many of our students, you know, coming from OUSD, they've never had, you know, a school library. Unfortunately, many of those campuses don't. So, you know, or have never written a serious term paper. You know, so that, which harkens back to my days at the college. I'm the first person to go to college in my family, so you know, like my first term paper, you know, it took me like, you know, forever to write that. A month or two, right? Yeah, a month or two. You know, so like, you know, and so, you know, just, you know, so I have that empathy.
Good.
You know, and so, you know, we will just, you know, we understand and we will walk you through the process there, you know, and we'll teach you. You know, you know, it's just, and we're also trying to make the library into the 21st century, to bring it, maybe to incorporate more social media.
Yes.
You know, many of our students are on, you know, Instagram, on Facebook.
Right.
You know,
right.
so you know how to, you know, reach library services. You know, maybe, you know, one day we'll have, you know, instant reference chat. You know, but these are things that are, you know, infrastructure. So you know, it will take a time. You know, financial or whatever. You know, but until then, you know, we're here and we're family, and you know, and we'll walk you every step of the way.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Man. Thanks for coming on the show, Reginald.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Outstanding. We'll be right back in a few minutes with more Peralta Matters.
My first instructor, he wasn't that articulate, but he used to say, you gots to read the book.
The EMT program, it's very intense. If you're not prepared to study, then don't even bother to show up. There's a lot of people in the class who want to be firefighters, myself included.
I want to be a nurse.
Some of them are going to go on to be doctors, like this guy. He's going to be a neurosurgeon.
I want to go to medical school, so this is like, you can get some great experience, some great knowledge, and you're going to learn every single part of it.
Bleeding control, CPR, mobilization of the spinal cord. The true skill is the assessment. When they can come in and recognize a cardiac event, recognize a stroke.
You see somebody just sweating and can't breathe very well, and by asking a couple questions, you're able to figure it out, so it makes you feel really good.
I can't teach them everything in here, but if I can just get them started with thinking about assessments, that's the true skill.
Being an EMT just really opens a lot of doors.
And after that, everything falls in place.
I'm a Laney College student, and you're watching Peralta TV.
What would you tell someone who is thinking about going to college?
I would recommend coming to the Peralta system to anybody, any age, any time, high school, before or after. The community colleges, especially in California, are well placed to give people a lot of skills. If you haven't found yourself or what you're going to do, you're going to find it somewhere in Peralta system. You are. Do it. Go now. Don't wait.
For more information, please visit peralta.edu. Like your future at the Peralta Colleges.
Welcome back to Peralta Matters. I want to thank all of our guests for coming on the show today. And I also want to encourage you to like your future at peralta.edu. Until the next time, please do something that matters.
Peralta TV, programs that matter.